Yo sup, this is MY3. Now continuing on from the previous video where I showed you guys what you can accomplish with 3 Yang Zings and a Metal Foe. This video we're going to be turning it up a level and see what we can do with 4 Yang Zings and 1 Metal Foe. Now obviously 2 of these Yang Zings are going to be discarded, one of them is going to be normal summoned and popped with a Metal Foe, and the final one is going to be pendulum summoned. That means we need 2 floaters, and the final one has to be not a level 1 Yang Zing, since we cannot pendulum summon level 1s. So we can easily replace up to 2 of these with something such as Yang Zing Path and still do the combo. But anyways, let's just get into the combo and see what we can end up with. So first things first, activate our scale and summon our Yang Zing. Scale is going to pop our Yang Zing. To set the combination, Bian triggers to summon Jiaotu from our deck. Now, Jiaotu is going to discard 2 to summon 2. Since we did not discard Chi-Wen, I like to get Chi-Wen at this point to set it up in the grave for the following turns. Synchro summon into our first Baxia. Now this Baxia is going to pop out Chi-Wen to summon Jiaotu from the graveyard. Chi-Wen is going to summon Zephyrinyu from our deck. And here we synchro summon for the second Baxia. Now what I like to do at this point, to make room for our following plays, is to use the first Baxia's effect to spin back, to use the second Baxia's effect to spin back the first Baxia. This is also done to conserve Baxias in the extra deck because we will need 4 Baxias for this play to be optimal. We're going to use our new Baxia to pop our combination and summon the Jiaotu. Combination is going to fetch us the opposite Metal Foe scale. We got 1, we're going to get 8, and then activate it. Next up, pendulum summon our last Yang Zing from our hand and 2 Zephyrinius from the extra deck. Zephyrinyu grabs us Divine Strike, which we are going to set. Next, we are going to synchro summon back our second Baxia, so we're still on our second Baxia, not the third yet. At this point, we have an optional +1 step. If you're running the fusion, you can set the fusion up for a +1. So our second Metal Foe scale is going to pop our Suani here to set the fusion. Suani is going to grab us Bixi or Pulau. Now, both of these have their advantages and disadvantages, which I will go over at the end of the combo, depending on which one you want to get. Next up, our Baxia is going to pop our fusion to set up the +1 engrave to summon Jiaotu from the graveyard. Next up, we overlay our 2 Baxias into number 38. And we end our turn on this field. And you might have noticed that we only have 2 negates right now, the Zephyr Divine Strike and the Hope Harbinger. But we do have the quick synchro effect of Pulau on our opponent's turn, which allows us to make Void Ogre on their turn if the series of card they play, we need to generate another spell trap negation. But if it seems like they did not open that many spells or traps, we could always use Pulau's effect to synchro for the third or the fourth, depending on what way you look at it, to spin 2 cards on their side back to their deck, which is very disruptive. And of course, we also have the third option to make a Trishula on your opponent's turn. Take one out of their grave, field, and hand. And the final option is to use all three to summon a Earth, Dark, and Wind Chalfing, which might just seal out their whole entire deck depending on what they're playing. So this is a very versatile field. I would say that it's definitely better than making the Void Ogre on your turn or making the Baxia, popping the Pulao to get the 2 Yang Zings required to make a Herald all on your own turn. I mean, both of these fields are 3 negates, but you don't have the additional reactive options on your opponent's turn, which is especially useful if you don't know what your opponent is playing, or if they're playing something such as Kaijus. You give them more limited and difficult choices on what they can Kaiju away because you're ending with 4 monsters instead of 3. But anyways, going back to this step where I mentioned you could get a Bixie instead of a Pulao. Now with this field, we can still make the Void Ogre and the Baxia on the opponent's turn, but we cannot make Trish or Chalfing. But the good thing is we do get the added option of making a Herald on your opponent's turn, which is a dimensional fissure pretty much, and can definitely screw up a lot of decks as well, similar to how Chalfing would. But yeah, that's the 4 Yang Zing, 1 Metalfoes combo. Okay, so next up, let's see what we can achieve if we add a Chiwen into this mix. So it's still 4 Yang Zings and 1 Metalfoe. However, one of our Yang Zings is going to be a Chiwen. Now let's see what we can add to the combo as a result of this. Now when I get additional combo pieces to play around with, what I'm looking for is a way to make that extra negate. If I can make that extra negate, that means this combo is a win. Before, without the Chiwen, we can make 3 negates. So what I'm looking for is going to be the 4th negate. So yeah, let's just get into this combo. Starting off, same as always, we're going to activate our skill, summon our Yang Zing Poppet to set the combination from our deck, and the Suani is going to summon the Jiaotu from our deck. Jiaotu is going to discard our Chiwen Empath to summon Zephrinu, and here, because I opened somewhat awkward, I cannot get a Chiwen if I want to use Chiwen's Grave Effect. I cannot get Suani because I've already resolved Suani this turn, since I just popped it with a Metalfoe scale. And I can't get Bian because I want to be popping the Bian later on in this turn, after I Pendulum Summon it, which kind of leaves the only option being getting a Taotai from the deck. So Taotai is kind of useful for some very specific opening hands, such as this one right here. So that's an argument to run Taotai. The counter argument is obviously it's randomly level 5, so it can brick sometimes. Anyways, Synchro for the first Baxia. Now Baxia destroys our Taotai. This gets Jiaotu from the graveyard, and Taotai gets Zephrinu from the deck. We're going to make the second Baxia. The second Baxia is going to pop our combination to summon Jiaotu from the graveyard. The combination is going to grab us the opposite scale. Going to overlay the 2 Baxias for number 38. And then we're going to activate our opposite scale. Here we Pendulum Summon 3, 1 Yang Zing from our hand and 2 Zephrinus from our extra deck. Zephrinu grabs us the Divine Strike as always. We're going to Synchro Summon into our last Baxia. Baxia is going to pop BN to summon Jiaotu from the graveyard. BN is going to get us a Yangzing that we have not used this turn yet, which is either Big C or Pulao in this example. And then we're going to Synchro Summon for Void Ogre Dragon. Now the Metal Foe skill that we have not used yet is going to pop the Big C to set our second search target from our deck. Big C and Chiwen are both going to trigger, and this summons Chiwen from the grave and BN from the deck, and we can just end it on this field right here. Of course, we can make the Herald of the Arclight on our own turn. If we want to make the Herald on our own turn, you would summon the Zefraxi instead of the BN, since we are going to be getting one extra resource in our extra deck for the Pendulum Summon on the following turn by doing so. But if we just end on this field here, not only do we get the option to Herald on our opponent's turn, we of course also get the option of going into a Light Qiaofeng on the opponent's turn as well. And again, ending with 5 monsters is a stronger board against Kaiju-like monsters than ending with 4 monsters. So there's an argument for both sides of whether you want to make Herald on your own turn or make Herald on your opponent's turn. I prefer to leave it on a more dynamic board, but if the matchup really requires you to have a Herald before your opponents do anything, for example, if you're playing against Mermail and you want to stop them sending the Atlanteans to the graveyard for cost, you would want to make the Herald on your own turn. For the following combo, we are going to be exploring what the following hand can do. So in the previous hand, we explored the 4 Yangzing 1 Metal Foe combo, where one of the Yangzings was a Chiwen. In this combo, we're going to be having a Jiaotu as one of the 4 Yangzings. So this combo, we're going to summon our Jiaotu and discard our 2 Yangzings. This summons Zephrinu and Chiwen from the deck. Next up, we're going to Synchro Summon for 7, and that is Ancient Fairy Dragon. Going to activate our Metal Foe scale. Ancient Fairy Dragon special summons the remaining Yangzing from our hand. The Metal Foe scale pops that Yangzing to set the combination from our deck. Big C and Chiwen are going to both activate. Chiwen summons itself, and Big C summons Zephrinu. Going to tune our Ancient Fairy and Chiwen into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And then we're going to make our first Baxia. Baxia destroys the combination, summoning Jiaotu from the graveyard, or if you had another poppable Yangzing, you can summon that instead for a +1. Going to activate our opposite scale that we just searched and pendulum summon both Zephrinu. This grabs us Divine Strike, which we are going to set, and then we make another Baxia. Here, instead of popping one of our scales with Baxia, we can use Sylvad to pop our other skill that sets the fusion from our deck, and then use Sparkseer to pop fusion instead, because why not have a floating +1 in the graveyard? We're going to get back Jiaotu off that Baxia, and then Synchro for Void Ogre Dragon. And then of course overlay the 2 Baxias for Hope Harbinger, for a total of 4 negates. That is all for the 4 Yang Zing 1 Metaphor combo video. Now I still have to cover the 3 Yang Zing 2 Metaphor combos, as well as some of the more interesting 4-card combos that you can pull off if you run certain cards in your deck. So make sure to join me next time.